To run CLI command for Azure SQL Scale-Out, start by understanding the basics of Azure CLI and Azure SQL. Azure CLI is a command line tool that allows you to manage Azure resources, while Azure SQL is a cloud-based database service. Scaling out an Azure SQL database involves creating multiple readable secondary databases, which can help improve the performance and availability of your database. First, you need to install Azure CLI on your machine and log in to your Azure account using the as login command. Once you are logged in, you can use the as SQL DB list command to list all the databases in your subscription and identify the database you want to scale out. Next, use the as SQL DB show command to get the details of the database, including its current service tier and performance level. This information will help you determine the best scale-out configuration for your database. To scale out an Azure SQL database, you need to create a new database with the same schema and data as the primary database. You can do this using the as SQL DB copy command, which creates a new database and copies the schema and data from the primary database. After creating the secondary database, you need to configure the read scale-out feature using the as SQL DB update command. This command updates the database configuration to enable read scale-out and specifies the secondary database as a readable secondary. Finally, use the as SQL DB show command again to verify that the read scale-out feature is enabled and that the secondary database is configured as a readable secondary. You can also use the as SQL DB list command to list all the databases in your subscription and verify that the secondary database is listed as a readable secondary. Best practices for scaling out an Azure SQL database include monitoring the performance of your database and adjusting the scale-out configuration as needed. You should also ensure that your database is properly configured for high availability and that you have a disaster recovery plan in place. In summary, scaling out an Azure SQL database using CLI command involves installing Azure CLI, logging into your Azure account, identifying the database to scale out, creating a new database with the same schema and data, configuring the read scale-out feature, and verifying the configuration. By following these steps and best practices, you can improve the performance and availability of your Azure SQL database.